Today we're gonna visit the Valley of the Kings in Egypt on a bicycle. Welcome back to a brand new episode. Today we're gonna visit the Valley of the Kings in Egypt on a bicycle. So let's get this episode rolling. So here is the boat that's gonna cross us on the other side of the Nile on the west bank. Got my mountain bike right here. Cost me around 80 Egyptian pounds, so you know around 4 euros for the full day. But the bad thing is it looks very foggy, very hazy today in Luxor again for the second day in a row. So it's a little bit of an annoying situation, but we'll see exactly how it is in the Valley of the Kings once we get there. Should be around, I think, 11-12 kilometers once we reach the other side of the Nile. Although still very hazy, we can start seeing the gigantic mountains, desert mountains of the Valley of the Kings. And guys, just check out the lush, you know, all the wheat that's around the Nile River. So around, I'll say probably 3 kilometers on each side, you know, depending where you go, you'll see a lot of farms. You know, it's a very rich soil here by the Nile, and you know, no wonder 90% of the population here in Egypt lives around the Nile River. So I had to come down a little bit so we can check out the wheat fields just by the Nile River, guys. So this one seems to be ready to be cut. It looks like pretty good wheat right here, but yeah, it just seems fascinating. You know, there are a lot of flies here, by the way. The Nile River is always associated, you know, with life here in Egypt, and you know, just seeing the crops, touching the crops, you know, and kind of, I don't know, it's one thing that I kind of wanted to do. It's very awkward, but you know, the 2-minute stop. But the really cool part, just close by the highway here leading towards the Valley of the Kings, you got the colossals of Mednon, one of the few statues remaining from his dynasty, I guess, from what I'm aware. But they're pretty cool. They're just on the way. Quick little stop, quick little water break, and hoping for a little bit of clarity once we get there. But yeah, check them out, pretty outstanding. So guys, check out this desert village right here in the Valley of the Kings. It blends so well with the mountains in the back. So very close by as well, we have the colossals of Amenhotep III, which looks like this whole area, guys, leading towards the Valley of the King is being, redone, revamped. I don't know if they're gonna try to make them as separate museums or, open air museums, that is. But yeah, there's quite a bit of work being done. Finally made it to the first stop of the day, the Queen's Valley, and here we have the famous temple of Hatshepsut. We got a little bit of walking to do, but they also have these little trains that you can take for £2, but the scenery is so nice, so why not enjoy it, especially after a bike ride, sitting on that whew, damn, did you see that fly on my camera? Either way, after that long bike ride, your butt kind of hurts a little bit, so it's always easy to cool off by walking. But yeah, let's go and find out what we have. Here's a closer look at the temple after the first stairway. It doesn't look impressive, gigantic from the outside, but we'll see once we go inside. But I think there are no photos or cameras allowed here, neither in the Valley of the King. So yeah, I think both places deny cameras, but we'll find out. And yeah, there are quite a few people at this hour, but that's the risk you take by taking the bike so late in the day. So right now we're at one of the chambers that still has some of the paintings colored, since the sculpture is colored, I mean. Lots and lots of color here at the temple. Check this out. I did notice these little signs in pretty much all the places where there are specific weird patches or there are pieces missing. So yeah, most likely that's where work needs to be done. But check out these, I don't know, people, peasants, carrying a whole bunch of stuff. So check out the coloration here, guys, in this part of the temple. It's just fascinating. Whole bunch of colors, from turquoise to red to yellow to green, it's quite mesmerizing. I thought you're not allowed to film, but a lot of these places, even though they face outwards, it's possible to take some photos and videos. This side. So although you can't see very well because of the haze, you can kind of get an idea of the lush right there just by the Nile. You can see the palm trees. You can't see greenery right now just because the haze. Everything kind of looks kind of monotone, but then you get all of a sudden the desert here in the Valley of the Queens and the Valley of the Kings. So yeah, quite the contrast between the two. Here's a better view of what I was talking about earlier, where the lush kind of ends and the desert starts. Yeah, it's quite fascinating to see all of a sudden, guys. It's like the road cuts pretty much between what's valuable terrain when it comes to agriculture and then deadness, I guess you can put it that way. So this is it, the entrance to the Valley of the Kings. There's a little bit of walking to do here before making it to the actual valley. Again, they have these little trains, whatever they may be, but nonetheless, we're gonna walk. It's like, you know, half a kilometer or so, so not that bad. The only bad thing is, flip it a little bit like this, is that the bicycle kind of has the back brakes applied a little bit, and it makes it very, very, very difficult right now to bike. You know, I was in a, you know, I'll say a 5-degree slope, you know, which the bike should go on its own, and it was like stopping. So it's really, really annoying. It's gonna be a really, really tough bike ride going back to Luxor, but I'm gonna worry that after visiting the Valley of the Kings. So let's check it out. So although the Valley of the Queens is just behind those mountains right there, you know, barely 500 meters, you have to go another 6-7 kilometers around the mountains in order to get to the Valley of the Kings. A whole bunch more tombs can be found on the mountains around the Queen and King Valley. This is just fascinating. Check out you know, the little holes that you can see here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. But yeah, and it's crazy to think that most likely there are more tombs to be found here in Egypt, and who knows what they held. So guys, that was it from the Valley of the Queen and Valley of the Kings in Luxor. It was phenomenal, guys. I'm sweating like crazy. Check out the stains of sweat from carrying the backpack. Even though I did not carry that much stuff with me, I kind of knew what to expect. I kind of knew what type of lens I should get with me. Again, you cannot take many photos inside the tombs. I just caught one at the Valley of the Kings with my iPhone, and that was pretty much it. Although it's beautiful, 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 definitely recommended, especially to see the colorness, you know, to imagine that thousands of years ago, those were the colors that were depicted in the tombs, and they're still here. You know, there's a lot of reconstruction, a lot of refurnished, but they're still splendid overall. It's definitely recommended. If you guys do have time and the energy, do get a bike. It's around 16-17 kilometers or so, and then, you know, round trip, you know, 35, let's say, max. So it's not that bad. That's pretty much all I'm doing today. Waiting for the car to go by so we won't get that noise. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing today. I'm a little bit exhausted. I did have 2 Diet Pepsis, something that I did not have for a very, very long time. But from time to time, I gotta spoil myself, especially when it's this hot outside, you know. The good thing about the overcast, you know, the little haze, is that the sun is not that powerful. The rays don't penetrate that much through, and you don't get that sunburn. But the bad thing is you don't get that nice bluish that we would have had with the mountains, right? So you'd have got a nice contrast. With that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. It was extraordinary here in Luxor. I got one more thing to visit here, which I'm probably gonna combine with the other episode, but that is a different story for a different day. Until then, guys, gratitude should be the only attitude. As always, take care. Peace.